Namaste and welcome to my podcast to everybody listening. Uh, this is me, Leknath Gautam. Welcome to my podcast center. From my little workspace here, it looks weird kind, but still, I'm here to discuss about something. Uh, Actually, I'm an immigrant from Nepal who moved to United States in 2004 and living since then. And I'm like interested in the politics and analysis of it. And I follow the politics of United States. I follow politics of Nepal as well, and. So I'm kind of trying to compare the difference between the politics of Nepal and politics of United States. Uh, Everybody knows Nepal is a small country, is a kind of economically challenged country because of the mismanagement, although there's a lot of resources, water resources, a lot of potential to grow up, rich in youth, young population, a lot of hardworking people, a lot of honest people, but they are in the middle of crisis right now, and in United States also, USA also, it is a different politics, but it is worse sometimes than in Nepal because of the system is built. All the nonsense, all the bad things is controlled by the system. System controls a lot of things. That's why we have to thank the people, the leaders of the past of United States who built such a system that can take a lot of stress, a lot of heat, and still function well. But we don't know how long it's gonna remain like this. Since 2016, the democracy, the system, everything is in test right now, is in stress test right now. And the lot of things, those ideas put forward by the Western countries are in kind of danger right now, like human rights, refugee rights, minority rights, and everybody has a chance to succeed, not only in American society, among the world. Like America always represented as a democratic country which will fight for democratic nations to build a better democratic nation, to build more better society, better democratic society. Since 2016, from when then President Donald Trump came to the power or was willing to come to the power, that kind of dynamic started to change further to the isolation, protectionist. America has started becoming like a more protectionist countries around the world. That's why the NATO allies and other allies around the world started having a doubt on United States. They started making other coalitions, thinking that anytime US could just lead them. So they started thinking, having another look towards even some the autocratic countries. So that brought kind of a message that there is nobody is protecting nobody. So before, US was considered as a kind of watchdog. If something happens, America will look for it. If some autocratic government suppress the people, kill them, people will have a kind of thinking that US will intervene sometime, or UN will be more powerful and intervene in such conditions, and those citizens will be protected. But from 2016, Donald Trump became the president, 44th president of United States. He started being more protectionist, protect America. And he even talked about building a wall between China and Mexico. And he did build some wall between Mexico and China. Sorry, Mexico and United States. That created a kind of confusion. America was more like an open country. It welcomed refugees. That's how America was built. People came from Europe and all over the world because they were in danger in their home countries. They became refugee here. They brought their ideas. They brought their values, and they created a more like a mixed society. But since 2016, I think the 2016 was a point that people started talking about white privilege more like frequently, and that kind of racial tensions started kind of more uh, vocal, like white people and black people. Before, it was hard to say white supremacy is bad. It was easy to say white supremacy is bad, such kind of conspiracy theorists are bad, but now it is kind of easy. So that is bringing people away from each other, not together. It is taking people from away from each other. Those ideals, that compassion towards other people, is breaking. People are more like a centric, like America is built in white foundation. We have to preserve that foundation. We cannot become so so I don't know what the word you use, inclusive, that every race has the same power the majority, the white people, has. So the silent feeling inside every human being, every American, I should say, started coming out and say, hey, we are white, we build the nation, we build the constitution, and we have to be in power, we have to be able to do whatever we want to do. The system has to protect us. not them. The conversation we, us, and then started to rise, not we all together. Black, brown, white, everybody is like a American. They started having that kind of conversation that, hey, white, black, and brown, Mexican, and all that stuff. The US was championed on human rights. Since then, the human right has become kind of option, optional. You know, we see a U.S.-Mexico border, separation of children from their parents. We started seeing President Trump going to North Korea and embracing his leadership, his dictatorship, saying how he loves Kim Jong Un, Kim Jong Un, how they get along each other. He started talking about the Vladimir Putin, who is like lifelong dictator, and there is no democracy in Russia. So he became more like autocratic president. He tried to be an autocratic president. And 2020, when he lost, he didn't concede. He started putting those election lies and cast doubt on the election system and caused the January 6th incident. So comparing to politics of Nepal and US is kind of different now. Nepal is like, there are a lot of groups, they live there. They live there from generation to generation. So nobody can tell them go back, because they have nothing, nowhere to go back, because all those ethnic groups, all those people, they live in Nepal, they belong there. But still there is kind of tensions between those groups because of religion, their culture, and all that stuff, but not that much. In United States, there is a difference because a lot of people are immigrant here, who came from outside other countries as a refugee or any different ways, and then they settled here. They started making their living. They started living their life. They started doing business. They started making their career. And they made this country home. But because of their skin, because of their language and color and accent and culture, they are kind of different. They are not white. So, since the Donald Trump came, the contrast between those people and the white people started to begin and become clearer every day. White versus other. The white people, I know there was a kind of fear among them that the migration was increasing because of the violence all around the world. Unfortunately, because of this kind of slogans everywhere around the world, caused tensions in those societies. The ideas raised by the United States and the Western countries caused unrest in those societies, those countries, frankly. And that created such a unfavorable situation for a lot of people. They have to escape, and they came to United States because United States was the country who was the epicenter of all these ideas. And now, since they are kind of white people, kind of scared, they are kind of think that their existence is threatened. So they started thinking that other people's rights has to be limited so that the white privilege stays, they stay in power, they are the in charge of everything that make feel them unsecure. And Donald Trump was created, and now US politics is so vulnerable. People are very divided by race, by religion, by region, all kind of stuff. So it is very sad to say this, but very future, if even very near future, if nothing good happens, US could go to the civil war, because every sector of the society, every sector of the government is affected by this kind of rhetoric, this kind of feeling. You versus me, them versus we. This is happening in daylight over here. And some leaders, especially in the right side, most of them are white, and then most of them are like in power and privileged. They are taking the advantage of that frustration among the white people to the mainstream and trying to gain power from that, trying to get the energy from that. I know short term they will get the power, but when the country divides further from right to left, everybody suffers. Democracy suffers. Unfortunately, as an immigrant, I'm also fearful that what is going to happen in future, what is going to happen in democracy in the country, what is going to happen human rights, what is going to happen to the minorities. There is a big question. I know people may be skeptical on that because American system is built, it is strong, but once a lot of people started casting doubt on the system itself, it is fragile, so it may collapse. So that is the very, very scary thing right now in the United States, and hopefully the leaders around the world in the USA will understand that pressure, understand that importance of controlling their rhetoric, at least talking to their people to bring everybody together, not dividing or taking them apart. Hopefully people will understand, the leaders, especially influential leaders, will understand that, and then countries and United States also will be able to keep its democracy, and we will live, we can live in peace and prosper. Thank you very much for listening. This is Lake Gautam one more time. Thank you for listening my podcast. Hopefully, I'll bring another chapter pretty soon. See you then. Namaste.